In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to gain stage in FL Studio to avoid digital clipping. Alright, it is very important while mixing. I've made this mistake in the past, you don't want to. And how it will help you to achieve better mixes, okay? Gain is the amplitude of the waveform before it hits any plugins. Alright, so let's get into it. The guidelines in this video are all about keeping you on the right track, avoiding unwanted clipping and making sure that your levels are all good. Trust me, I've made this mistake in the past and you don't want to. The first guideline is about not clipping the mix bars, while the second is about how to optimize your fader position for the best resolution possible. Gain staging is simply controlling the volume of your individual tracks, all right, throughout the music production and mixing process of your song. So guys, it is all about having the right signal level at all points in your machine, whether you're working in analog or digital. All right, this is still very important for many reasons. Okay, now doing this will help prevent your tracks from coming to the mixer too loud and going over 0 decibels, which is going to cause digital distortion and clipping. You see, when you assign a sound to an individual mixer channel in the mixer, the actual path that the audio signal takes is that it comes into the mixer channel, it comes here, and then it goes over here. It goes over here to the right side and goes through all the plugins that you have loaded on the individual mixer channel. So once that signal has gone through the plugins and all the processes has been applied, all right, it then goes to the volume fader. All right, so the volume fader is only making adjustment after the plugin has been applied, and this is where you want to adjust the volume. So that is why it's very important that you set your gain from the source. Okay, it's very important so that you can have good levels before you're now beginning to mix it or adjust the volume. All right, very straightforward. So gain sets the initial levels while volume adjusts the levels. Very simple. All right, gain is the amplitude of the waveform before it hits any plugin. Let's take, for instance, I'm just going to take this as an example. Let's see what we have here. I'm just going to play this without anything applied on it. All right, you know, something is there, but it has been muted. All right, I've muted. So let's just engage this and see what we have, and then reset this to default. Okay, let's go. So guys, as you can see, we are about -3 decibels, which is actually very close to 0. Now, it is very important that you adjust the volume from your channel rack. All right, so what you are literally doing now is gain staging. All right, so you want to adjust the volume so that you are not close to -3 dB. Because when you are at -3 dB, you are very close to 0 decibel. And of course, you know, by the time you now begin to apply plugin on this mixer, on this channel, it will now begin to clip. All right, so that is why you want to feed in your volume from the channel rack. All right, so what I love to do is simply click this guy. I'm just going to make sure that I have everything properly set, and then from the volume, I'll just, you know, adjust it a little bit. And of course, you can see the result here. Make sure you check this place while you engage. So let's play it so that we can. Now, let me even take it back so that I can explain something. Let me go back. Now, you see, when I play it, take for instance, no process. Now, we are hitting about -3 dB, which is very bad for our mixing. Now, by the time I apply, I engage my, what's it called, my plugin now. Now, see what happens. Now you can see that we are already clipping. Which is very bad for our mixings. And of course, you want to set your kick to be the loudest part of your song. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is literally just decrease the volume from the source. All right, so engage this, decrease the volume very well while I play it. Can you see the difference? We're still very close, right? And then you can just make it, maybe because of the amount of plugin I have here, that is why it is very loud. All right, so I'm going to share something with you. But let's proceed. Now it's getting better, right? So now you can now beginning to adjust it a little bit so that you can have your perfect what you want. Can you see that? Then you can now put it maybe like -80. All right, you can see the volume here, -80. Now we're having very close to just -6 dB, which is very awesome. And then another thing I love to do, instead of doing it this way, I love to just add now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset all of this. Mute this one. And then what I love to do is to add. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is to apply this plugin. And then haven't done that. That's from Select the Guitar Trimmer. I'm just going to reduce the volume. All right, so let's see what we have. Let me solo this. Now you can see we're beginning to have clean mix. All right, so what I literally do now, when I disable this now, this is it before, but when I engage this, so what I actually do is just to reduce, to take maybe -6 dB out of it, and then we have a good one to work with. But I'm just still gonna trim it down a little bit so that we are not too close. And that's it. Now you have, as you can see, you have now a little bit close to -6 dB. All right, which is now awesome. So this is how I will set my kick so that every other instrument, every other samples will now be below it. All right, literally that's how it works, so that you can have a clean volume to work with. All right, so that's literally how we set it. And then I will now, this is the kick is routed to the master. That's number one stage. Then the next will be all of this guy, all of them. Excuse me. I'm just going to highlight all of them. I will route it to this guy, route to this track only. I'm just going to name this as the master. Now see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to change the color. Maybe something like this. Now I'm just going to right click and say move to the right, or I'm just going to dock it to the right. That way I have it in this part. All right, now this is going to be the master. That is, everything here is routed to this guy, and this guy is now routed to the master, and this one alone I'm just going to route it to the master. Now the idea is, this is the kick. I want it to be this is going to be the loudest part of the song, while every other aspect is a little bit low. All right, it's beneath it. All right, so that's it. So what I'm going to do right now is to apply the same effect on the master. So I'm just going to engage all of them. The idea is I can easily control all the volume. Can you see that? Can you see that? Now I control all the volume while the kick is still very loud. Very straightforward. Do you understand? So the first thing I did is to apply this virtual mix rock, which is we're using the trimmer out of the presets. I'm using this guy trimmer. Now I put it on the master. Why I've also put it on the kick as well. Now I'm now going to have adjust it individually. In other words, this one I'm going to set it to how I want it to be. Now this one has been properly set from the beginning. With gain stage. All right, we've reduced the volume here, and of course I've done the same thing to the remaining part of them. All right, and having done that, The idea is to divide all of them into two sections. I routed all of these to this guy, to a master. Then the master now goes to the main master. All right. Why this one alone is direct to the main master. Do you understand? So in so doing, I can now reduce the volume as it pleases me. In other words, I can make this one a little bit higher than others. In other words, I can just control the rest of the song by simply adjusting the volume here, while the volume here, the volume of the kick is going to be different. So the idea is to ensure that kick is more punchier than others. It's more louder. All right. So stay with me as we engage. As you can see now, we are having a healthy mix. All right. So, and of course, what you can do, if it is too quiet, you can, increase it a little bit, and that's it. And that's it. Now, if you now feel like it is too loud, all right, so what you can actually do, I will still put it on the master. That's the main master that will control all the volume. All right. So what I will literally do now is to add it on the main master, and then if I like, I can now reduce the volume a little bit. All right, maybe -1 dB out of it, and then I can now proceed. Now, as you can see, we have proper, volume. Now we are not clipping and all that. So from this now, I can now proceed to now mix it. All right, I can now enable all my, all my plugins and all that. And if I enable all of the plugins and it's still clipping, it's very straightforward. So what I have to do now is to just apply the concept. Go back, do you want to click on it individually and decrease it from the source. So this is going to be the source. All right, so you decrease it and then you can have a proper levels before it gets to your mixer. All right, so it's very straightforward. I know some of you will say, why can't you just drag it, decrease it instead of going through all this process? Now, take note. It is very important. You see, gain sets the initial levels, while volume adjusts the level. All right, now you see the gain as the source. So anything, when you have a clip, an audio that is already clipped, and you not take it here, you reduce it. Now, what you are literally doing, you are reducing the volume of a clip audio. It has been clipped already. So that is why we say gain is the amplitude of the waveform before it hits any plugin. So make sure that you want to go to the source. All right, reduce the volume. The gain, you want to adjust it a little bit so that you can have good volume to work with. I have also made this mistake in the past, but when I now later discover and I say, wow, then I realize the potency of this process, and most importantly, gain staging. Try as much as possible to apply this to your mixes, and of course, you will see a tremendous results. And then I know sometimes you want to mix, you're working on a project and you're beginning to see distortion and all that, and you are saying, I have decreased this. Why is it now still distorting? This is literally what you have to do. All right, you want to make sure that you go to the source, and then which is from a channel rack, and then you want to do what? Adjust it individually. Then another thing is, if you are using if you are using the latest FL Studio. Now, another thing you can simply do if you're using the latest FL Studio, then you have access to this option that you can actually reduce the gain. Let me zoom in. You can see it. You can just directly come here and reduce it. Let me solo this so that you can hear what we have before and after. Right click, reset to 0. Let's take a listen. Do you hear that? You can actually say maybe minus 10. It makes your workflow very efficient. All right, you can easily just gain stage all of them from this point. You can even start your process from this point. Maybe just 1 dB, take 2 dB, from all of them, so that by the time you now get to this point, all right, you gain stage again, you reduce some volume and all that. You can easily drag this icon, this knob, all right. It controls the gain as well, or you just click it and see the big button, that's the volume, all right. And then from there you can now go to the mixer, and then you want to adjust it a little bit. And of course, the best to do is to now apply this guy, of course, trimmer. Then you can now reduce the overall volume, and then before you know it, you have a tremendous result. And of course, you now begin to have a clean mix. And then by the time you now want to master it, then you have a proper mixes to master. All right. And that's it for today. I hope this video is helpful. All right. So guys, if this video is helpful, as always, consider to subscribe. And on to the next one. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.